So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatchewan in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. And number 2 here, Sean Joyce with you live. Sorry, I had some technical issues getting the audio going here in the first end, but I was able to watch that end with you. An exciting end, and Alina Petz with her final stone, almost able to get the deuce, just doesn't push the stone quite far enough. That does give them the 1-0 lead as we begin play here in the second. Center guard went up first. It's just a little bit off the line, so they were actually able to attempt the tick shot. Slides by everything and through the back. Now the come-around attempt looks like it's going to slide just a little bit deep as well. Does hang on in the back 4-foot. It is shot rock. Ueno looking for the freeze to that stone now. The lead is Asuka Kane. She also holds the broom for Miyu when she throws the final stones. Only playing with 3 here today anyway. Junko Nishimuro appears to be the one that's not on the ice. She normally plays second. Miyu Ueno is the third. And sweeping now. Gonna have to go hard for line just to get this one by. Will not make it by now. That stone was not touching the center line. It is now. Carol Hold is the second for the Tirinzoni team. Going to look to come around that stone. Selena Vichonki, the lead, sweeping on the left as we look at it now. And Alina Petz, the fourth thrower, with her brush down now, trying to get this rock to curl. They'll get to the inside of the red stone, but they're still going to bump it into the rings. Rolls over to guard shot rock again, though. And that was the 5th stone of the end, so they can now make a play on the guards if they'd like. Could try the double peel and roll away. They're going to try the run back. Early indication is that might be a little more weight than they had in mind. And this might be out there. I don't know if she's making contact with the stone at all. It does not. It will slide by everything. Gives the Tirinzoni team a chance to make a play on that red stone in the 12-foot, roll another one in behind cover. She's going to make the hit. Got to roll towards the guards. Good brush. Gets it 2/3 under cover. Ueno trying to get a couple of things out of this. And she looked at both options. You can run either one of those guards back on a slight angle, try to catch one of the yellows and roll your shooter so you don't leave everything covered up. She's going to opt to play the same one they just attempted and trying to run this, I believe, towards the stone at the back of the 4-foot so her shooter can roll off a little bit. It's going to make contact with the guard, but a little too thin, drives it by the one in the house. The shooter will roll out of play. Tirinzoni just going to look to replace the guard for now. Pressures maybe had to work that a little harder than they were hoping to get it over the hog line. It does provide good line for the guard. Ueno looking at playing the shorter run now. So the other stone. She'd be happy to make contact with either one of them, but I do think if she drives this one across the face of the stone in the 8-foot, she might be able to get all three of them. Now, you'd lose your shooter, but it would get you out of trouble. This is not the thrower. This is the lead, Asuka Kane, who throws the lead stones and is the vice. Coming down to take a look. She's looking at the double peel, I think. There's also a port. You could try to get to the stone at the top of the 8-foot directly. You'd still have the problem of how do you deal with that stone at the back of the 4, though. I think this is the angle runner on the stone just outside the 12-foot. Oh, this is going to overcurl. They'll get the straight peel on it. Silvana looking to replace the guard. She'll want this one in almost exactly the same place as the one that was just there. If you're too long on this one, you might see Ueno just try to come around it and see if she can't get her deuce. Same issue if you overcurl here. So this has got to be fairly precisely placed. Inside brusher was down for a bit. Looks like they'd like to go, waiting on a line call, perhaps. Well, the weight looks like it's plenty. Oh, that's really good. That's really good. Nice tight guard. Would make it very difficult to come around that. We're on thirds last. If she felt the need to switch gears, this would be the time to do it. She's going to play the angle run in again. This one's closer. She's going to make contact with something in the rings. Gets the one now. Does a shooter spin into the house as well? Not quite, but it does stay in play out there. One more look at this. They were on the brush early and all the way down. Gets the run, catches the stone at the top of the 8, runs it out. Not able to get that redstone into the rings, but good job by Asuka Kane being ready on the roll to at least give it a shot. Alina Pets, again, looking to replace the guard. It's a little tougher now because you're down to skip stones. If they're going to get forced, they may well decide to take a risk and see if they can't freeze to that stone. So she actually gets it probably a couple inches wider. That's a pretty good line. If they're going to play this freeze, she's made it as difficult as she could. You peel the guard here. Pets comes and throws another one. She could even bring it into the top 12, and you're probably forced at best if you don't give up a steal. So you try to draw here, and if you make it perfect, Alina Pets follows you down, and you're still probably forced. It's the best you can hope for, realistically, is to get forced to 1 right here. But if you don't make this shot, you might be looking at a steal. Nothing out of the brusher yet, just waiting on the line call by the looks of it. Looking to curl now. It's got plenty of room by the guard. This is a little strong as well. It's going to go right by everything and all the way through the back. Well, that gives Alina Pets a chance to get one in the top 4 foot, take away the path to that back one. And then it becomes very difficult to score at all. Definitely wants to get this in front of the tee line somewhere. Ideally, you come into the 4 foot and you might force Ueno to try the really wide out turn draw, and it's a bit of a guess whether or not it will curl far enough to get Shot Rock going that direction. First things first, with her final stone here in this second end and a lead from the single she got in the first. Chance to set up the deuce right, or a steal right here. Pressure's not doing anything on this one either. It might be strong. They're trying to get it to curl. That might not have been the best approach. If you think it's heavy, you might have been better off to get it to go straight and try to get by that one. Now you've left her a bit of a wall back there. The only thing you can't really do if you're Ueno here is throw this deliberately out of hand where you're thinking about the backing. Because if you start throwing heavy, it may not get to those backwoods. We've seen a few rocks crash on corner guards already in this game. Just needs to get to the face of the stone that was just thrown. She'll have the pin covered, would pick up her single point. We'd be all tied up here after 2 ends. Pressure feels like she's got a little bit less weight. She jumped on this right away. She switched around now, needing to curl as well. Has to get to the button. Really working this. Needs a good piece of the button to pick up shot rock here. And it is going to be short. She's a little heavy on the first one. And just pulled off too much weight. It's going to be a steal of 2. Silvana Tirinzoni takes a 3-0 lead here after 2 ends of play.
Welcome to the rockshop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. Therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of
Third end just underway here as we get back to the action at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. Silvana Tirinzoni with a steal of 2 now has a 3-0 lead. And Ueno going to ignore that stone on the corner of the button and attempting to throw the corner guard. It will get tight to the rings, but does stay out. Selena Vichanki looking to come into the top of the forefoot again. Didn't get quite the same line as the first, but sits 2 in the rings. Ueno, no discussion of even throwing the second corner guard. She's going to try to come around right now. There's nothing wrong with that. Certainly in the third end, you don't want to go too aggressive, but that first one being that tight, I thought she might throw a second. Well, then they're going to end up with a second, but the problem is if you were going to play a second, you wanted a lot more separation than that. There's going to be a fairly easy double peel available on the next attempt for the Tirinzoni team. This is just the fifth stone of the end. They can't play it yet. And now if you were even to come around, there's a chance that the double peel would come straight back and kill anything that you might bring into the rings. Tirinzoni with a 3-point lead, not really interested in anything in front of the ring, so they're going to bring another one into the house here. Ueno looking to now start to move these yellows around, playing this as a hit. If she makes the hit and roll over towards the corner, she might be able to kill 2 yellows. The first one will clip the second one. It should jam on that stone at the side of the button, but 2 of the yellows would leave. Critical to hold the shooter here. Cannot afford to roll out. This is going to have to curl if she's going to get any kind of roll at all. Straight back. Will kill 1. Does leave her shooter in front of that yellow stone, and that's not a bad position. It might force Tirinzoni to go after the guards first. So looking for the double peel here. Carol Howell. She's got 1. She's got 2. Shooter will roll all the way across the stones on the other side of the house and out of play. A nice shot, just the 3 stones in play now, the 3 in the rings. Shot and second belong to Tirinzoni. The red stone at the top of the 12-foot's in a good spot for you, Ueno. You can see most of the shot rock, so you saw the indication. Just going to play a hit and roll towards the outside. Doesn't even have to stay for shot here. She could roll into the 12-foot, sits second and third. Just again, though, when the whole play is in the house now for the rest of this end, she just cannot afford to roll out anywhere. Got a piece. That nice quiet weight. She will roll over to the edge of the 12-foot, but does stay in the rings. Tirinzoni going to make a play on it. Now, she probably wants to roll far enough to sit 2 anyway. But I don't know if she wants to roll right in behind. You roll right in behind, and Ueno might play the freeze because you'll be deep. This is the opening draw here in Swift Current. Of course, most of the practice session goes towards the middle, so a little bit of a guess when they're throwing a hit towards the wings this early. And she will hit it right on the nose. It's third shot for the time being. The problem with that being it's tough to do anything with that now. Can you freeze to that one? That's what she's looking at. It's certainly the best result if you could make it. It's going to be a tough shot. Again, just going back to what I was just saying. Opening draw here, a lot of the pregame practice is going to go towards draw to the middle, and we're just in the third end here. They won't have a lot of chances yet to have seen this draw to the corner. You want to get slightly corner frozen to the inside of that. Make sure you're still second and third. And then both reds are difficult to remove if you can do that. Still looks like it's got plenty of room, but they have to go a little bit for weight. Oh, that's a really nicely thrown and nicely swept rock. Doesn't get right down to it, but she does have a piece in front of it. It has made for a trickier shot for Silvana. Nose hit will get rid of it. But you sure don't want to curl inside the nose at all. A little outside the nose you roll out, they'll get a chance to maybe make it again, maybe make it a little better. Silvana Tirinzoni with her first. This is getting inside the nose a little bit. I don't know if the red one's going to leave. She hits it fairly thick. And it will hang on at the back of the 12-foot, and maybe worse if you're Tirinzoni with where it rolled to. The red-yellow at the top looks like it actually could double the two yellows out of the rings. You could sit three. Now, you don't have to play that yet. You could just make a play on the rock at the back of the button. The problem with playing the two at the top, and I'm not saying you don't play it, the problem with playing the two at the top is that your shooter and the first redstone you're going to hit aren't going to be very far apart. So there's going to be a double back. You'd sure hate to leave it lined up to the one at the back 12 as well, because that could be a triple. But we're on to third's last stone now. You don't know how many chances you're going to get. You make a play on the stone and the button, which you could do. You still need a double somewhere along the line, and we're getting late. So I don't disagree with them to play this shot now. Somebody's got to be ready to sweep the roll. You don't want to line these up. The first double should be fairly makeable. I mean, there is, I guess, the possibility, depending on how you hit it, you could drive it by the second stone. You could also dead jam it into the second stone. Boy, this is going to have to really hold the line to hit the second stone at all. Touches it, jams it. Enough to get it out, but she loses both of the red stones, the shooter and the raised stone, and now it's just a hit on that stone at the back 12-foot, and Ueno at best probably looking for a blank after this. This got inside the nose awfully early. I don't know whether it looks like maybe she's a little tight out of her hand. And maybe just a little slow with the brush call as well. She got well to the inside of that. It's just under half a rock. Fortunate to get that second Yellowstone out of the rings at all. Alina Pet's just looking to hit and stay right there. Doesn't have much room to roll. Oh, really nicely done to hang on to the back of the 12-foot. There's an interesting thought, and I don't hate the call. She talked about possibly playing the freeze. If you think you're going to get forced anyway, you could play the freeze, and if you get a bit of a mistake, you might get your deuce. Even if you don't, if you're close to the freeze, Alina Petz might have it blasted out. If she blasts it out and rolls out, then you're back to a blank. Well, already trailing by 3, so going to try to get the skips deuce, as we call it. Make a good freeze here. You've got a chance at least to get back to the blank. Miyu Ueno with the throw. Miyu Ueno on the brush. Now both of them on the brush. She was a little light on her draw last end. Would like to get right down onto the corner of that yellow. The line is perfect. Does not quite get enough for shot rock. It is a problem, though, for Alina Petz. It's hard to get that out of there clean. She's going to try to pick it. There is the chance she loses that stone at the back of the 12-foot with it. Looks like they're playing to pick it clean. The other option that I can see, you nose it. It goes out off the yellow in the side of the 4-foot. It's close to the back one. Gets it, does roll it out, but that will give Ueno the chance for the blank anyway. Alina Petz throws that up weight so well. Probably part of their consideration there is that, yes, it's going to be going towards that stone at the back 12, but you would have had to be a little bit or perhaps even a lot unlucky to jam it so solid that it stays back there with that weight and only having such a short distance to roll to get out of the rings. Miyu Ueno with her final stone and the big weight here herself. Pardon me. Yep, Miyu. And this is going to be very thick. Are they going to be able to roll it out? And they do get it all the way out of the rings and to the divider. Nothing left in play. It's a blank here in the third. Silvana Tirinzoni continues to lead 3-0 going into the fourth.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez.
Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
So with the impact to my business and income, Will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Sean Joyce with you here live from the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown in Swift Current. You're watching Curling Stadium Swift Current, and Silvana Tirinzoni forced to 1 in the first, but did pick up a big steal of 2 in the second and continues to carry a 3-0 lead here. She brought the first stone into the corner of the button. You see the corner guard go up from Ueno, and now Selena Vichonki looking to bring one into the top of the 8-foot. She had no interest in throwing any guards out front in the third. Certainly wouldn't be throwing a guard this early in the fourth. Even end versus odd will change the strategy a little bit. Now for Ueno, she threw 1 guard on purpose last end, and they ended up with a second one. The two of them were too close together, but they were trying to come around and just came up short. With the longer guard here, does look like she's opting to throw the second guard on purpose this time. It's going to have to slow down if it's going to be a guard. So this is sliding into the rings. Now they're trying to make it curl. If you can bury it, it still becomes difficult to get out right away. She's got 2/3 probably behind cover. This is still just the 5th stone of the end. You can make a play on that rock in the rings, but you do have to be careful of the guard. It is still the free guard zone in effect. Carol Howell, very enthusiastic brush on her rock there. It looks like she might have found something or felt something underneath it. Taking a little extra time there. By the front one. Now trying to hold it straight. They don't want to stay dead in behind the corner guard. She'll actually get the hit and roll over edge of the 4-foot, probably edge to edge. Well, maybe a sliver under her 2 yellow rocks already in the rings. And again, with 3 in the rings near the center line, Ueno's going to have to start dealing with those yellow stones. Where they got in trouble last end is on an attempt like this. They rolled out. She's got to hold the shooter. Pardon me, they actually hit the nose, the first attempt. Critical to hold the shooter, not as important to get 2. She could get, I mean, if you really needed to, you could probably make the triple here and roll. But if you ever rolled out, you'd be in trouble. Leaving rocks in the back of the house, not bad for them right now. You hit this just off the nose on the broom side. You definitely could move all 3 of them, and 2 of the yellows could end up behind the tee line. Wants to stay broom side, however. This is getting awfully close to the nose. It might even curl across slightly. Well, still touches the one on the way by. Will kill one of the stones. Leaves her shooter in front of the yellows again. That's the same thing they did last end. Silvana just letting them know there's more room between these rocks this time, so they're going to make the play on the stone in the 12-foot, just try to pick it out. Carroll with the hit. The shooter rolls away. Looking to come around the corner guard again. Doesn't even necessarily have to be in the house with this. It could be a tight corner. You just need it buried. With the amount of curl we've seen, granted it's early, it's only 4 ends. We haven't seen all the spots on the ice yet, but that corner guard, one corner guard by itself that high, doesn't look like it's an effective guard. But it would be a good guard in combination with another if they could get one tighter here. This has got more room coming by than they would have liked. And it will slide to the back 12. Again, probably 2/3, or maybe a little more than that buried, but Tirinzoni's got the advantage now of having seen this spot already. Carol Howell made it on hers. They came by that one with 4 or 5 inches by the guard and got good finish. By the guard even a little tighter this time, and they're indicating maybe a little quieter. Still wants to get some roll and will to the back of the 8-foot, and Tirinzoni again sits 3. It's getting a little tougher to ignore these stones in the middle. Of course, part of that is that the corner guard has shown to be not that effective by itself. Looking to just tap this yellow behind the tee line and start to set up a wall back there. Leave her shooter in front of it. Ideally, you want to leave this stone in the 4-foot so those 2 yellows are even, and that means yellow's probably still going to be sitting 2 after you make this shot, but the red becomes very difficult to remove. That's pretty nicely done. Didn't get it quite behind the tee line, but does leave the red stone pretty well centered between the 2 yellows. Decision time now, really, for Tirinzoni. She's got 3 stones left. It goes against her nature to want to guard right now, but it might be the best call. You'd certainly hate to jam it into something. As we look at if you look at the overhead, so the 2 yellows that are sitting there, the one on the button, there's not a lot of space between the red and the yellow. You'd have to hit it really thin to get it over the top of that. It's a little easier to go over the top of the other one at the back of the 4-foot. The danger there, though, is if you hit it too thick and jam that one fairly solid, that red could end up behind the corner guard. And so I think they're going to end up throwing the guard and just say, you've still got 2 yellows you got to deal with if that rock's ever going to matter. Make it difficult. And if you're Miyu Ueno, really, this is the best you could have asked for. You've got her throwing a guard here now. You've still got to deal with those 2 yellow stones, but you've got a chance. This is what you wanted when you played that last tap, is to force her to leave one in the rings. Looking really to guard the red. She wants to guard any kind of tap back that might be something Ueno might think about. No, I don't know if she's going to cover it enough. There's probably still room to get to that. Maybe a little casual on the brush. They could have been going to curl on that one. It did seem to stop fairly suddenly on them, but this has probably left Ueno enough room to get there with just, again, the same kind of tap weight. Tap the red that's there onto the yellow that's on the button. You need to move it about a foot. You'd be shot rock, and you'd still be in front of 2 other yellows. Boy, it's got lots of room coming by. Maybe add a little bit of weight here. We'll tap the second yellow, but tap the red out into the open. There's also a double available on the yellows, or pardon me, on the reds. You don't need to play it. But that's what Alina is looking at. She throws these upweight shots so well. I do think it's the yellow at the back of the button shot rock still for now. She could play the double. She'd end up pretty much dead buried. You could also get to the shot stone and roll to pretty much the exact same spot. To make the double, she's got to throw fairly big weight. To throw the hit and roll, she can play that a little bit more finesse style and let the brushers have more of an impact. First game of an event, it might just come down to what she feels like she can make. Looks like she likes the double. I think one of the things they talked about, if they were a little thin on the first one, they might even be able to come off their own and up and kick the yellow out that way. Does look like she's going to throw the in turn into it. And that will come off this first stone. She's got to hit it fairly thick to come straight across, but she'll use the gear effect to come off with a little bit more weight. This is close. She's got the first one, comes across actually to the front half of the second one. Pushes it, and with that little spin back, she does sit 3 for now, but the shooter spun out from behind the guard. There's still room to get to that pocket. Ueno looking at it. If you're playing it as a draw, she is looking at it from the out-turn side. It almost looks easier from the in-turn side. They have had their share of troubles so far in this game. She was drawing against 2 in the second, came up just a few inches short, gave up the steal of 2. had a draw last end that she had to jump up and sweep herself so that they could have two brushers to get it as far down as they could. Really, she would love to be right in the pocket on this one. You almost need to move the Yellowstone at the back of the button just to make sure you've got a chance to score two. Again, you dead freeze it so that they can't get it out. Alina Petz will just freeze to the top of it again, and there won't be room for a second point. This has got a curl, and she definitely doesn't want to bump anything here. Doesn't want to bump anything. Certainly doesn't want to bump both of them and leave a port room to tap it through. You could move one or the other, and you probably would have ended up corner frozen on the second one. It still would have been tough to get out. By hitting it right in the middle like that, she moved both of them far enough that Alina Petz probably can make this through the port. Still going to throw it with finesse weight, of course. You don't want to ever fire this down and rattle it between the two and roll away and give her a chance for three somehow. If you're a sliver on the broom side, it catches the one at the back four, but that one's slightly deeper than the one that's just nibbling the four, so it probably still skates through. As long as you're sitting two, you've got the force. But if she could ever get to the nose here, the same shot probably isn't good enough to score. Brushes are close, going for curl now. Now back and forth. Boy, this is really close. Taps it. Does she have enough weight? She'll tap it enough to sit two, and probably the same draw not there now. Boy, they were a little casual on the sweep. If she doesn't, if that stops 2 inches shorter, it's still second shot, and this shot's for two. I would have expected they would have thrown a little more weight than that. Regardless, it is just a draw for one, and now she has to play that in turn. It's there. And I said on the draw attempt it was probably easier. That Yellowstone at the top of the 4 foot that was just thrown makes it a little tougher. Just because this is curling as it's coming in. You've got to get by the stone in the 8 foot. She could afford to rub the one that was just thrown if she had to. The danger I see here is if you ever threw enough weight to make sure you got to the back one, and again, we talked about this on the shot last end, we have seen some rocks run a little straighter when they're a little heavy. Well, if this one was to run straight, she might not get by that stone in the 8 foot. Big shot here, final stone for Ueno, down by 3 already, facing 2. Needs to draw her way out of some trouble here. Line looks close. She's made the port. She'll get by the one at the top of the 4 foot. Does come down to that stone at the back, nudges it a little bit, and she will pick up her single point. They're on the board. But Tirinzoni with a 2-point lead now after 4 ends of play, and she will have last rock in the 5th.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan. Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at the RockShop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. The RockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Well, on the board with a single point in the fourth. Now the Ueno team trying to set up the steal. They set up the center guard to start things off. It is on the center line, important with the no tick zone. Tirinzoni comes around to the top of the 4-foot. And now it looks like they're playing the second center guard. First one's not in a great position for this. It's about halfway. You'd like more separation than this. It's never ideal when the first one's a halfway guard. It's probably not good enough to guard by itself, but it's a little too tight to play the second guard. They will get the second guard up. It's not touching the center line. No thought about playing the tick, though. Selena Vichonke looking to come around. Put her first stone biting the top of the 4-foot. Would like to come and sit right on top of it here. He's got a nice line. They're working it hard for weight. She'll make the 12-foot. She'll make the 8-foot. Does get them fairly well lined up. That's a nice shot. You saw the call from Ueno looking for backline weight. Needs to move these yellows around a little bit. Has to stay close to the nose. Doesn't want to be flopping out into the open really either. This is the 5th stone of the end, so you know Tirinzoni will have the option to start peeling the guards on the next one. Taps just the one. We'll put it behind the tee line, and the shooter rolls open. And you'll see Tirinzoni play one of the guards towards the one that was just thrown. She could opt to play the tighter one. It just looks easier probably visually to play the high one. And if they just get the straight peel, they'll be fine with that too. Carol Howell has got one. And just over the top of the stone in the 8-foot. Shooter will roll out of play. Well, she's going to cover all the options. She could make a play on shot rock, try to roll undercover. You could make a play on second shot, try to roll undercover. You could just draw. She's talking about throwing another guard, too, by the looks of it. Probably looking to get this on a little bit higher and protect the guard that's already there, I think. You know Tirinzoni's going to peel anyway, and she's probably going to peel it towards that one in the corner again. You're just trying to delay the play into the rings. As soon as you play into the rings, she's going to peel your last remaining guard. That's pretty well placed. They could still make a pass at the back one, but well, she's thinking about it. It's certainly the better result. Get rid of the tighter guard. Still a chance she could get rid of both the tight guard and the stone in the corner, the 8-foot. Got one. And again, just over the top of that stone in the 8-foot. Well, I don't love this call. You got the longer guard there. Now you play the tight guard, and she can't really make a play on it. You'd be splitting center. She'll have to peel the high one. You ever hit this on the nose? She's playing the double. You've got to get undercover here. Not going to get by the guard. This had to be well inside. It was on the guard early. Rolled over and protected a little bit of her own stone, but that red stone is already third shot. Again, Tirinzoni with last rock here doesn't really even have to make a play on this, but she's going to. This might be one where she wants to hit it right on the nose, though. You roll under cover. Ueno will try to hit the shot stone and roll underneath this one. You might want to stay in the open where you can use it. Boy, that's great weight control. Nice job on the brush. She'll get to the nose. Now, does she have enough to get it out? Doesn't have to get it all the way out of the rings as long as she taps it far enough to be sitting 3. I'm not sure she did. I think she's still just sitting 2. I wouldn't want to bet my life on it, though. There's still there would be a measurement to come, likely, if that's where it ended up. Few rocks to come before we worry about that. Ueno will look to hit and roll behind the 2 corners now. The stone that was just thrown, essentially a corner guard. This Japanese team has been under big pressure so far in this game. They're only down 2, but in a lot of ways it feels like more than that. And here's another one that might have overcurled on them. And it will roll just a little bit too far. So certainly Tirinzoni sitting 1 right now. Might be 2. I think it's just the 1. I don't think you worry about that red at the back, though. This is likely a situation where you're playing a draw. Then how deep do you want to be? They're talking about possibly playing the slash double on the 2 reds at the back, too, just so they don't leave anything behind the tee line. Some of the concern here must be that they feel like, if you leave it too high, if you're just second shot up at the top of the 8-foot, there is a chance that Ueno either comes right around it, knowing that there's a rock at the back to possibly jam on, or she could come off her own stone at the edge of the 12-foot and get underneath the stone you're about to throw here. You come in a little deeper, she plays the freeze. Silvana, by the looks of it, talking about coming in a little deeper, but not being quite buried, so that she's got to play the roll to get in there. And then there might be a double off that side one as well. It looks like that's kind of what they've decided. They're not going to go dead in behind. And it looks like they're trying to leave it high enough that the hit and roll behind cover wouldn't be shot rock. Both pressures down early, and they have not left it yet. She's got to get half a rock into the 8-foot just to be sitting second shot. I don't think this has got the weight. Well, for Ueno, their first thought is to hit the open shot stone and try to roll in behind. The problem with that, she'll, again, be well behind the tee line. It doesn't matter who's second shot. I think they are. Here's the thing. If you really wanted to try to steal this end, you could come around the stone that was just thrown. The problem with that is that Elena Petz throws next, and she's one of the best hitters in the game. You're going to give her at most a 6-foot straight back run back on her own stone. So they are going to play the hit and roll. There's an argument to be made here. She actually might be better off with a nose hit. You make the nose hit. Petz can't really play the roll behind cover because by the time she rolls behind cover, she'd be behind the tee line. If Petz nose hits you again, now when you hit and roll behind, you're in front of the tee line. Oh, they might have left this too long. She's going to make contact, but she's going to roll too far and all the way out of the rings again. So Pet's looking at the come around. Get something to the top of the 4-foot herself, in around that center guard. Make sure you've got a chance to score, and there's still the possibility of 2 or even perhaps 3. This has got a lot of room. Trying to help it over. It's also got a lot of weight. They're trying to bring it back now. If you know it's behind the tee line, you want to have room to get a couple back there. Does come to rest a shot rock back 4. It is mostly open. Ueno has to be a little bit careful. If you try to remove that stone and you roll open, you could leave a double for 2. She's going to look to play just the freeze. If you knew you could get around and get the finish, you could just play this as a straight draw to bite the top of the button as well, because with the redstone right now at the back of the 8-foot being second shot, it would be very risky for Alina Pets to play any kind of a run back. You make this freeze, you're still behind the tee line, and all Alina has to do is follow it down one more time, and she'd still get her single. Has to go to get this to the 4-foot at all. And it's going to come up short again. So it's 1 point already and a wide angle tap attempt for 2. Pets had a similar shot. Actually, she had to hit a little thinner than this still and try to tap it far enough in the first end. Ended up just an inch or 2 short of making the tap perfect. Had the right line, just didn't move it far enough. This one she could afford to hit just a little bit thicker. She's got, probably a quarter is good. You might make it with a half. Half probably makes it if you tap it right to the tee line. A little bit thinner, you've got a little bit more leeway. Was almost the exact same spot in the first end when they were playing it as well. So they have an idea what this is going to do. Brusher's indicating it might be a little quiet. If it's quiet, you might need to hit a little thicker. Going to have a piece of it. Is it enough? This time it'll be enough. Alina Pets with an outstanding final shot. Picks up 2 more here in the 5th end. They now jump out to a 4-point lead. It's 5-1, pardon me, after 5 ends of play. And Ueno will have last rock in the 6th.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatchewan in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
Four points the difference here as we begin play in the sixth end. 8 end games here on schedule for Swift Current. We'll see whether or not extras are required. For Miyu Ueno, maybe it has to feel a little fortunate to be only down 4. She's been looking at a lot of yellow rocks, and in many ways it feels like this game has been a little bit more lopsided than it is now. With only 3 ends left to play, you do need to get your deuce here at minimum, and that means you get your deuce here. You're still only having to steal 1 point at a time. If you ever were to get forced here, you need to steal a deuce somewhere just to get to an extra end, and that's tough the way the game's gone so far. I think probably safe to say Miyu will be seeing yellow rocks in her dreams tonight, and those will be nightmares. Got the one corner guard up, though, and attempting to come around it now. Again, I thought they might throw a second corner guard here, but they're electing to come in right away. Just so tough to try to steal or try to get a deuce with only one guard. And they only get that one half around, so Carol Howell with a chance to get that stone out. Now, this is still just the 5th stone of the end. They really have to be careful coming by the guard. Chunky indicating that it might be a little bit light. She's got room by the guard, though, and good finish on that little hack waiter around the guard. She'll remove the stone from play and rolls again to the center line. We've seen this script a few times already from the Tirinzoni team. First thought was to just tap, maybe freeze, and I think that's the way she's got to go. Trying to remove a stone from play has just not worked out for her so far. She's only got one corner guard to work with, and if you make this any good at all, you've seen Tirinzoni walk up and peel the corner already, so you'd expect her to do it again here. If that's the case, you need these yellow rocks in play. Straight tap, the yellow at the top of the 8 into the one at the top of the 4, have that end up behind the T line, and then stay in front of the pocket that you leave. This is going to have to curl, though. This is not the rock they were trying to tap. They were trying to get to the other one. So the red stone in the ring stays pretty much wide open. It's maybe slightly overlapped the one at the edge of the 4-foot, but coming at it from the center line side, you'd have to dramatically overcurl to risk any kind of jam. She'll play it inside out, try to roll again into the cluster of yellow rocks. The number of yellows is starting to bother her, but I think the scoreboard would bother me more if I were her, and the scoreboard says you can't hit here. You can tap some stuff. I actually kind of like if she could get right to the nose of the one that was just thrown. There you go. Get right to the nose of it. You'll chip the 2 yellows at the top of the 8-foot out wider. Your shooter should stay in front of quite the wall. And I think she's still playing the hit and roll, though, by the looks of it. And close to a full weight hit at that. Makes the hit. Kills 1 yellow, but also loses the shooter. Tirinzoni thought about bringing another one to the 8-foot. Elena Petz is pointing up there. There's a red guard that we could hit. Maybe nothing wrong with the first thought of playing one into the top of the 4-foot, but it would be an aggressive call. She still kind of likes it. Oh, or she's looking actually at if you hit this thin enough. Yeah, she'd love to clip one of those yellows on the way by. She doesn't need the yellows in the rings, and there's kind of a pocket there now. So they're aware. If she can hit this first one thin enough, her shooter might make a little more noise in the house. No, she's going to hit it too thick for that. Going to get the little excuse me center guard out of it. Dead guards shot rock. Trying to play a peel. It is something for Ueno to try to work with, and it's all she's got, really. Try to come around. Straight freeze or a freeze tap. You don't want to tap it very far. I think it's pretty hard to, I was going to say, I think it's pretty hard to tap it without rolling. Now, if you tapped it to the back of the 4-foot and rolled corner frozen to the other yellow, that might be pretty good. Oh, stays right on the corner, stops just in time. I thought it was, I had visions of it just tapping it enough to leave a port for the red to go through. She stops right at the corner freeze. Any kind of play on that redstone now, it's going to double off the 2 yellows. So Tirinzoni just looking to freeze one on top of the red so that if they do see Ueno play that run, anything, it'll be a yellow. She has to run into it, even if it's a short one. They'll give her 1 right now. They just don't want to give her a chance for 2 or perhaps even 3. This is a long ways out. And a lot of weight, but they might be able to break up the existing freeze. Breaks it up with enough that, there's just enough room with a perfect tap. She might be able to get it between the two yellows. For Ueno, what I'm seeing is if you could ever come down there and just sliver the red one, just to move it over a couple of inches onto the yellow, biting the button, and then have your shooter end up in that pocket of the two yellows. Very tough shot, very precise shot. There are some options off of it. You could straight freeze the pocket on the yellows, because I think if you hit the outside of that red stone now, you could double off the two yellows in the 4-foot. Boy, of all the things she looked at, this is the one I would not be playing. I do not think you want to move that yellow out of the top of out of the side of the 4-foot. Then they'll just blast this stone out. I opted for the hit. They'd like to stay corner frozen onto the shot stone. Might have rolled a sliver too far. Well, the option's there to just blast that red out. You'd lose the yellow as well. They're looking at making a play onto the red that is second shot. I think the red that was just thrown is fourth. Lena looking at the run back onto the second shot directly. Well, there's an option to take it off the one that was just thrown. But Jonke now talking about just blasting it out. You can even pick it clean, but not critical to keep that one at the side of the 4-foot. With that ice, I think they have opted for the blast. You make the red go away. You'd probably actually like to take that yellow one with it. Shooter would roll away as well. Well, you got to hit the red, though. This is going to be close. Catches it very thin, just enough to push it into the 4-foot. It is second shot now. It would be open, but opportunity now perhaps for Ueno to set up. There's a chance for 3 here. If she could get to the nose of that, or just a sliver on the broom side of nose, tap it back to sit 3, leave a sliver of her rock under the guard, and a sliver of it in front of the stone that was just tapped into the 4-foot, she'd be sitting 3 and no obvious doubles there just because of where the guard is. You know, they're angled for doubles, but the guard would be in the way. I don't know. You know, it's a 6-foot run back on her own guard. I don't know their pets would try that. She might. This has to be made first. She sees something different. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. I don't see anything different. A guard? You play the guard, she hits the open one. You hit and roll to the outside, she's playing a double. She's got to make it. Well, you have to stay for at least fourth shot. If you roll too far, she doesn't even have to play the double. I don't see a better option than what she was initially talking about. And I think that's what they've settled on, going back to the original call. You play the tap and try to roll to the open side. You have to stay for third shot. If you roll farther than that, she doesn't have to hit it. She can hit the one in the 4-foot, sit first and third, and the most you're ever getting is 2. She'll give you 2 right now. You want to keep the chance for 3 alive here. That puts some pressure on Pets for the first time in the game. Needs to get close to the nose, has to tap this just through the 4-foot. Big shot. And this is getting tight to the guard early. Really tight to the guard. All over the guard. Not going to get by. And not able to spin it in enough to do any damage either. Now, Pets has the chance to kill both if she wants to take her pass at it. They talked about both options. They're not even looking at hitting the one at the back of the 4-foot. It's the one at the top. You can either play the hit on it and just roll in front of your own, where there's not going to be a chance for 2 because any attempt at the double is going to leave that stone at the side of the 8-foot as shot, or second shot. Or you hit this just a sliver on the broom side, red onto yellow onto red. Both reds go, and you could be sitting, well, possibly as many as 5, because it's possible none of the yellows roll out. Has to stay a little bit on the high side to do that, though. This is going to get close to the nose. Touches it. Well, enough to make it tricky, because the yellow is shot rock. She's going to have to make a play on it. She's got to hit it off the nose because she's got to pass it by her own, and she does not have a lot of room to roll. But there is a shot for 2. Almost identical, actually, to what she was attempting on the last one. Now, the last one over curled.
Welcome to the Rock Shop.
That one, and learn where to put the broom and how to throw this one. Final stone on the way. Ueno trailing by 4. She's got a delicate tap back here for the chance to score 2. And again, this is curling. She's got to pass it by her own stone at the back of the 4-foot. Got a little more weight this time. It's going to pass it by. Now, will the shooter stay? It does. Even gets a spin back for good measure. She will pick up her deuce here. Keeps herself alive. Closes to within 2. It'll be Tirinzoni with last rock in the 7th. But single point steals could keep Ueno in this game.
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at the RockShop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. The RockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of.
Well, an absolutely huge second point there for Ueno. It's tough enough. She's playing one of the best teams in the world, perhaps one of the best teams in the history of the women's game, and you still need to steal 2 points just to get to an extra end. But if you don't get that second point, somehow or another, you have to manage to steal 3 points in 2 ends just to get to the extra. And that's tough. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here. Every one of these teams out here has stolen single points more times than they could count. I will say I'm not a big fan of how often they elect to not throw the second guard. And they bounced off. That's just making this whole end easier to play for Tirinzoni. She can play the hit on that stone in the 8-foot, and now you're playing the whole end basically with one guard, because you can throw another guard on the next one, but it's the 5th stone of the end, and they can start peeling. The call was to try to come across the face of this and roll big. They're going to come across the face, but just enough to roll a couple of inches on top of their own. Just looking to come around and tap these yellows enough to make some room to try to score. Need to create some room here because the guard's going to go on the next shot. Manages to tap both yellows. That's a pretty good shot. It will leave the angle for the double peel. There's a chance something could get jammed here. Makes the hit, stuffs one, and left the guard out there. It's a little off center now, but something for Ueno to work with. Could opt to play the tap. They talked about that. If you're going to play the guard, I don't like that. That's too tight. That's better. You don't want to give her a chance to double the two reds. If she's going to play a double peel, you want it to have to play red-yellow. Have to be a little bit patient here to try to get the steel set up. Maybe just a little closer together than I would have liked. Chance for Howell to play the first red across the top of the yellow, and there's a chance it comes straight back. Gets one, clips the yellow. Enough to lose it. That's a really good shot. So now just the 3 stones in the rings. You have to guard the stone in the 12-foot now. You could make an argument that you're just going to guard this 3 times and then tap it back on the last one. Of course, you got to make the first guard. They're going to hog it. And now a chance for Tirinzoni to simply peel this one out. Didn't see the throw on that one, but I see a lot of housekeeping. I wonder if it didn't pick something up. Tirinzoni with the hit. Shooter will go across everything, misses her own stone. They're going to elect to throw the guard. I think she talked about lining it up to that Yellowstone that shot rock. I think if they took a moment to think about this, you might want a tight guard just about 6 inches off the center line on what would be the broom side to this shot, because you know she's not going to play a nose hit on a peel. You try to put it where she's got to risk jamming it onto both yellow stones, depending on which turn she wants to play. This is going to make the turn selection pretty easy. She's going to play the same shot. So the peel is made. Your options now are to try to freeze to that stone in the 4-foot, or again, you could throw the center guard, but it's got to be off center the other side, where there's really 2 rocks she could jam on it. It would have to be tight. This is probably the easier shot. It's so tough to make that guard so precise, and even if you do, there's still a pretty good chance they peel it out. You get half frozen on this. It can't leave. Even if she blasts it, it's going into the other yellow one. And then you could draw in, sit 2, and at least make her look at 2 with the last one. and you don't have a guard, making them look at 2 is probably the only way you've got a chance to steal one. Line looks close. Line looks really good, but does she have a little too much weight? She can't afford to bounce much. Oh, that's a fantastic shot. Wow. Pet's throwing this. This is a lot quieter than what I thought they'd be doing. I think you try to hit that even if you hit it right on the nose. Just kill the yellow one because you don't want it sitting there where you could jam on it. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. She could hit the one on the edge of the 8, roll to the back of the button, and the overlap on the 3 rocks on the center line means it's going to be hard to get to the shot stone. The other option is you hit the stone that was just delivered right on the nose. It's going to jam the red back, and it probably spins in behind yours enough that tough to throw any kind of a hit. Either one's good. You still need a miss either way. She's going to play the hit and roll. It was the first one they looked at. You look at where she's going to make contact. So she's about, the front edge of her stone is going to be about 6 inches in front of the tee line when she makes contact. She rolls straight across. She's probably going to be splitting the tee line. If she's just fully buried, there's not really a good run opportunity there. This is a chance with a good roll. You've got a decent chance to steal. Got a curl. This is close. They might need to sweep that. You know, she's done that probably about as well as she could have. There's a little piece if you wanted to try to pick it, but if you try to pick it and you catch the yellow, it's a steal of 2. One more look at this. Great patience on the brush. You knew as soon as the camera angle switches around, you can see the line as this is coming in. You know it's close. It's rolling. It's just a question of how far. And again, this team sweeps technically very sound. They're ready on the roll. Brings it into the back corner of the button. Really no good way to push either of the yellows up. She can try the red. She can't see all of it. There's a decent chance if she hits everything she can see, all it does is dead jam onto the red. She's got to hit it really thin to get it across the top enough to make the double. But Alina Pet's, again, one of the best in the game playing these types of shots. She's got one. She got the second one apiece. You cannot sweep that. But it moves far enough. It'll be a single point for Tirinzoni. She picks up 1 here in the 7th end and now takes a 3-point lead. Ueno will have last rock, needing to generate 3 in the 8th to get to an extra.
Hey, Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting. We'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Eighth and perhaps final end here. RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown in Swift Current. You've been watching live. Draw one action in the women's field. There's a men's section to this event as well. We'll have all of the games for you here on the Curling Stadium YouTube network all weekend long. Building through to the playoffs and championships to be determined on Sunday. Just getting underway here tonight. There'll be a full slate of draws tomorrow and Friday, as well as obviously Saturday. Looking for that doubles tick into the rings. It will touch the other yellow, but as long as it doesn't go through, and it does, it goes out of play. And now all affected stones have to go back to their original place. So the corner guard gets replaced, as does the yellow that was in the rings. And again, the problem this Japanese team has had, too many times their first guard has been a halfway guard, and it does make it tough to play the second guard. I'm a little surprised here they don't try to split the rings. Like play the second corner guard on the other side. You're not going to be able to throw a corner guard over here and get a ton of separation between these two. You would have liked to have this first corner maybe tight and then throw a long one. Cannot afford to have a double peel. Now, it can't be played yet, but you can't at any point in time. When you need three, you just can't allow for a double peel at any point in the end. And they're going to leave these two pretty close together. Well, maybe get away with it a little bit as they chip off. Works out okay for Ueno because the only double peel attempt is going to drive a red into the rings. They're not going to want to take that chance with the two yellows that are going to be in there. If you think you knew how to get around the wider corner, this would be the time to do it. The problem with coming around the guard closer to the center line, which, it does look easier, but they're just going to peel it. And then even if you go around the wide one, they hit the stone you're about to put in the rings, and they're sitting three, and you still have to deal with those. You draw around the wide one, they peel the wide guard, then you draw around this one. Yes, if they might hit that one that's open at the side of the 12-foot that you're about to put in, but that's not a rock you have to deal with. And this, another one that they're going to have to work hard to get it by. Oh, great job on the brush. I didn't think they were going to get that one by. It does. Sliding deep is fine. But as I said, this just leaves the straight peel on the guard closer to the center line. They don't need to worry about any double peels just yet. You've got 3. You got 5 stones left. You could opt to come around the corner guard here. You could throw one more still. Mind you, I'm not seeing much chance you're going to get a missed peel, so you may as well come around. Not a thing out of the brusher yet. And a ton of room by the stone out front. Boy, you'd hate to end up right beside the other one and leave a double. They just kind of got caught there. They needed to keep going on that one just to make it bury, but if you sweep that to the tee line, you actually leave a double opportunity. Tirinzoni now can just make a play on the red stone at the edge of the 4-foot. She's looking at the other one, but I think you make a play on the stone on the edge of the 4-foot. You're sitting 3. Ueno still only got 4 rocks left, and she needs to bring that one on the edge back into play somehow. She might have to start moving yellow stones. Doesn't have to kill them, but she might have to move them. The other thought, and you can kind of guess along with them what they're thinking here. If you get that stone that's maybe a sliver under the guard, it looks like it's wide open. If you get rid of it now, you never have to deal with it. You still could sit. Well, hard to say who shot rock, but I mean, if you're sitting with a couple of rocks in the 4-foot and that one on the top 8-foot, at some point in time, Ueno still has to deal with them. I think with that broom, they're probably, certainly with where Alina Betts has settled herself, I think they're going after the stone on the side of the 4-foot still. Well, the problem with trying to roll to the corner, and that's what you see her talking about, is we left that wide open, we roll behind the corner, it's a double. I think you got to try to freeze that yellow, and you could play it a little heavy and try to chisel in behind the 2 yellows with it. You know they're going to try to hit the open red one. This would be a way to establish 1. You still have to establish a 2nd in order to have a chance to draw for 3 or play some kind of double for 3, but they're going to elect to play it as a straight freeze. There's still going to be a lot of yellows they have to move, though. That's the problem. Pets has, the first thought was to hit the stone at the corner, roll to the middle. Tirinzoni actually looking at, you hit the outside of the yellow, you kill the red that was just played. Either one of them's good. I like the one through the middle myself. The concern I would have about hitting the outside one is you roll in kind of full 8 foot. You actually start to create a pocket where it could be hard to ever get that red one out. Well, that's what they're going to opt for, though. You want to make sure you roll at least far enough. Even if you roll into your own, you're okay. You roll to right where the broom, right where they just tap the broom, and then that red stone in the 8 foot, it's hard to ever get it out. Silvana Tirinzoni with her final stone, throwing the third stones for her team. Trying to make it curl here. No, they're not playing to roll in at all. They're just trying to hit it right on the nose, just eliminate a stone. That's probably safer than rolling towards the middle and maybe leaving a pocket. Ueno looking at just corner freezing her own, but that still makes it awfully easy to get rid of the top one. I thought she might play a split here. Tap the red onto the one that's buried in the 4 foot and have your shooter roll behind the corner. Yeah, you make this freeze, they're just going to hit the outside of the yellow one in the 8 foot and blast the one red that's already in there out. Just a little strong and a little too much line, a nose hit available. She can even hit this on the outside, doesn't really need to keep her own stone in the 4 foot. Arguably, probably better if she doesn't keep her own stone. Probably wants to roll red out of play here as well. And then Ueno probably has to play the split on the reds. Tap that red onto frozen in the 4 foot. Try to roll the shooter in behind the corner and then hope you've got some kind of double left for your last one. Makes the 2 in the 4 foot go away, does lose the shooter. I think they've got the right shot. The question is how do you want to hit this? Like they're talking about, well, where they're gesturing anyway with rooms is to roll fairly flat. Well, if you're doing that, you're moving the rock in the 4 foot. I think ideally you're trying to hit the one in the 8 foot really thin, roll to the back of the 8 foot behind cover, and try to leave it kind of corner frozen at the top. You've got a nose hit on the yellows. You'd have to hit it a little bit off the nose because you got to roll in, but there'd be a shot there. You force Alina to throw hers first. That's the first thing you got to worry about. Just don't leave her anything open. The problem with trying to roll flat is that means you're hitting the first one a little thicker, and that means you're going to pop that stone in the 4 foot and probably leave her a short run back with no jam. On the brush right away. Got good rotation. That'll help her. It'll gear off a little bit towards that corner. Makes the tap. Does get the roll underneath. Now, it did move the second yellow, and it's going to leave that short run with nothing to jam on back there. But you've made her throw it. So Alina Petz with her final stone, looking for the short run back to run Ueno out of rocks. They're on the brush right away. This might be inside the nose. Does she catch the red? She catches enough of it to kill it. And that will run Ueno out of rocks. Did make it interesting here in this final end. But Tirinzoni picks up a win in their first game of this round robin portion, the qualifying portion, looking to get into the championship playoffs on Sunday. Round robin action and continuing on the women's side throughout the day tomorrow and Friday. Men's action underway as well. We will have all of it for you here on the Curling Stadium. On behalf of myself, Sean Joyce, and my production person today, Matthew Hone. Oh, make sure I've got the right name here. Sorry. We want to thank you for joining us here tonight. And we look forward to seeing you here all weekend long. The RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown live from Swift Current.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the Rip Berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, Custom Chaos? One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Booster juice, freshly made, your way.